to go. It wasn't Olympics, it was European, international.
I thought it was in Florida or somewhere. Was it in America?
It was, yeah. Yeah. Go on, I'll tell you the story then. How long does it want to be?
It's up to you.
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It's my voice is, and my teeth, I've got to get my teeth back.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. So, I have to tell you a little story about my part of my life, because I've never had a job, but I've never been without work. In other words, I started off as a child when there was no cars on the road, no men. All the men were in the army working, including my father. And they were marching up and down the road in civilian clothes, left, right, left, right, left, right. One or two of them on the outside would have got uniform, but they were coming past my grandmother's house every day, morning, noon and night, training hundreds of men. This is in South Yorkshire, in Sheffield, and they were training to go to war. Eventually, they all went there, and my grandmother, for the second time in her life, was living through a war. She went through the First World War, and she went through the Second World War, and she never had a husband with her. I don't know the full story, but that's not the point. She was looking at people, and they were training, and I was watching through her window. We're talking about now 1940, people going to war, hundreds every week, were training and marching, and eventually there weren't any men at all, because all the men in South Yorkshire there were no shops. All the shops were shut. The only ones you could go to were those that were allowed by government to sell things that were rationed on your ration books. So anything you bought, you had to have coupon, whether it was soap, whether it was sugar, whether it was bread, whatever it was. At the end of the war, you had to have a coupon for a loaf of bread. And nothing was like today at all. And we thought we were in poverty because everything was a coupon. You could only have 2 eggs if you got a child. You might have 3 if you were an adult in a week. So you could only have a little bit of milk. If you were pregnant, you could have a bit more milk. Everything, including sugar, tea, bread, cheese, bacon, meat, and even vegetables were so scarce, but nothing was wrapped up like today. And I didn't know then. I thought we were being deprived. I found out in later life I was eating the best food in the world, English produce, vegetables and fruit that was local. It was grown outdoors, and everybody, the rule was dig for victory. Everybody dug for victory. It was illegal to grow flowers in your garden, would you believe it? You had to grow, if you could do, vegetables to eat, that you could have your own, and you weren't allowed to go into business even if you got an allotment. Unless you were a proper farmer, you had to grow and see and your own. Now all that without me realising it, I learned and carried on doing all my life. I found out later it was the best food in the world. I don't need a tin, I don't need a box, I don't need cellophane, I don't need my loaf wrapping up. A big loaf, give it me like by hand, raw, a big loaf, that big. When you cut it, you think, that's a white loaf. Excuse me, why, it's brown in the middle. That's the only colour there was. You'd call it brown loaf today because there was grain in it and it was natural flour. They hadn't bleached it, they hadn't messed about with it. Natural food that we had, we didn't know was the very best, and I'm still eating it and I'm fit.
That's it?
Okay.
Thank you.